Has anything tickled you today? It's kinda late. Well, it's about 10 past 10 in the evening here in Scotland. It's been a lovely day. It's been a day when I actually got outside and got into the garden. Hence my late appearance. I'm having a lot of fun with blackbirds at the moment, and starlings, and the odd pigeon. That's not unusual for me in my daily routine. Usually happens in the morning though. When I'm out gardening, I'm starting to see that they're beginning to come closer, a little bit closer. And that's good, because they're getting more confidence. But I don't want them to get too confident, because when I'm not here, because I do intend to be moving at one point, then maybe the people who are coming in are not quite so bird friendly. Maybe they'll have a cat. We already have a couple of cats going on. And they've kind of put my birds off of coming to stay and talk. But what I did today, I cleared out my gardening bag. Those pea plants that I showed you on Monday. Well, yesterday. See, can't even remember what day I'm on now. I actually, partly because I went out into the garden, felt like I was at the weekend. Felt like it was Saturday. So I'm cleaning out this gardening bucket bag thing. And I'd put the new peas that are now like this high out into the pots outside. And of course when you start doing one thing, it starts to become another thing and another thing and another thing. So you tend to, it's like that to-do list we were talking about yesterday. It tends to be never getting done. My garden is a bit like the Forth Road Bridge, like when they paint it. The Forth Rail Bridge anyway, not the Forth Road Bridge, the Forth Rail Bridge. I go out there and I start, and by the time I think I've finished, I've got to start again. That's the thing about gardening, it just keeps you going. But there are some nice views along the way. Now I've been thinking about what I can plant at the moment, because not getting out so much to secure and find bedding plants and new seeds and things. And getting someone else to buy them for you is never really that good an option, because they sometimes don't really get what you're saying to them. And I can see my garden up here. They can't. I found all these seeds in the bottom of my garden bag. Now, I'm thinking to myself, are they still going to be viable seeds? But that's the interesting thing about it, because this is what I'm going to find out now. I'm going to find out if these are viable seeds. They've been sitting tucked away. Some of them are not, because some of them are done. They've been tucked away quietly, waiting at the bottom of this bag for me to find them. And the only reason I found it was because basically the bag has more holes in it than a netting bag. Definitely more holes in it. So I'm planting some of them and I'm going to see what happens. And actually it's quite fun. It tickles me to think that I could have had these things in this bag and they might be a couple of years old at least, if not more. I might still be able to get them to grow. Would be very interesting to see what's going on, because some of them might be mixed up. There's a story by Milton Erickson. He talks about when you're planting a garden, and he talks about someone who takes their gardening seeds and he or she mixes them up and then just throws them out into the garden, covers them up and waits to see what's going to happen, and allows the seeds to tell their own stories. That, I think, has tickled me a little bit, and that's why I do things like that. Also, I'm potting girl at the moment. I don't have space in the garden to actually plant straight into the garden, so I have to make use of pots. I've discovered a clematis that was pot bound, and it looks like it's growing again, so I've repotted that. But it's all about looking at how things change with the seasons, how things go on. And I was talking to someone today, and we were talking about how change can be a very, very contentious subject. And I had to remind them that we are changing every day. We're getting older. Every day we go further along our line, our journey. Our bodies are changing. We change our minds all the time. We change how we look. We change our clothes. These may be small, almost insignificant changes, you would think, but actually it's an allegory of what we're actually doing. Change is inevitable. So really, there's no point in wishing it not be so. There's no point in saying, oh, I'm not going to do that because it means I'm going to change. Now, I talked last week about the Nirayal article about figuring out your identity and how identity is about change. Behavioural changes your identity. I don't think it does. Like I said, I think it's mirroring more the other people that we know, so that we don't even get to see, we are reflected and reflected and reflected. A bit like the Bruce Lee Hall of Mirrors in the end of Enter the Dragon. That's what we see, that's what we think of as, in this part I identify as this person, in that part I identify as that person. But it's only when you actually break the mirror that you'll find out exactly who you are inside. And that's kind of like growing seeds from a packet with no label on it. You know there are flowers in there, you just don't know what you're going to get till you plant them. So I've planted a few of them today. I'm going to wait and see what happens. I've got a couple of sunflowers coming up. I'm very excited about that because I love them. They make me very happy. I hope you find something that makes you happy today. And I hope you find something that makes you happy tomorrow. And I'll be a bit earlier tomorrow. Honest. Have a good night. Sweet dreams.